safe place. And there'll be a couple of you to share their stories. So I'll get you started. For me, trust is a hard one. I don't know why. I think maybe it's in my genetic makeup. I don't know. Maybe I need to go talk to a counselor about my childhood. I don't know. But for me, with trust, I struggle because my default setting is to be a suspicious person. And for whatever reason, my default setting is to allow my perception to become my reality. You ever heard that saying, perception is 9/10 of reality? So if you perceive, if I perceive something a certain way, I'll allow that to become reality in my head and determine people's motives before I even give them the chance to explain their motives. That's why, for me, I struggle with trust. And I struggle with trusting God, too. We talked about it in first service. This is such a cool thing. It helped something click in my head. There are these three. They're all so interrelated. And then trust, when it comes to your faith, trust is handing that thing over to God. The waiting is giving him the time to do his job. But the trust is letting it go. And we were talking about this. I'm curious, how many of you can sympathize with this? You're really, really good at giving something to God and then grabbing it and running away with it right after you've given it to him. Anybody empathize with that? You know what I mean? Like, you remember if you grew up in the church, often there'd be some well-meaning youth pastor who was probably a really great person and did a great job, but they would always use that analogy of leaving it at the foot of the cross, which is a powerful analogy, by the way. Well, as I've gotten older, I've developed this little visual image in my life that that's who I am. I leave it at the foot of the cross, and then I grab it and run and hope he won't notice. That's me, right? You leave it at the foot of the cross, and then you hope when he's not looking, you can grab it and take it back. Trust is a big thing for me. What about you? It can be a positive story. It can be a struggle that you have like mine. What is your story about trust? Anybody? Requisite uncomfortable silence here. If you got something, just speak up.
Okay.
You have a microphone.
She said hi. Well, look at this. She's not nervous at all.
You don't know me. I've come down here a couple times. I go to the NAM church usually. I'm Kirsten in Missouri. Anyway, yes, trust has really been a big issue in my life. Do you want me to go over what I'm currently dealing with right now, or in the past?
How about now?
Okay, so right now I'm in a position, I'm a single mom. I've got 3 kids, going to college full time, and I've really been blessed in that God has allowed me to do all these things. However, I rely heavily on child support that I receive. And I found out this past week that my ex, the father of my children, is going to be moving down next weekend. And he does not have a job yet. Okay, God, how am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to get to school? How am I going to take care of my kids? So I've been doing a lot of praying because really what else is there to do? I can't fix it. My ex he's a big boy. Yeah, he's a grown-up. He can make his own decisions. I can't prevent him from coming down. God is really the only one that's got my back here when it comes to my future. And so I've really learned a lot this past week. And really in the past, I'd say the last several years of my life, about learning to trust him and learning to let it go. And when I think that I've got it down, I get thrown another curveball, because I don't have it down good enough. So,
Thank you.